now. Let's talk transfers to end with today. An intriguing little story that our next guest alerted us to. It is our transfer guru, Ben Jacobs. Good afternoon, Ben.
Hello, Ben.
Afternoon.
Well, you sent us a link to a house that looks like it could be available to rent in Newcastle. And it's reportedly the house that Alexander Isak has been living in. I went to check it out after the link came through, only to find the agent had taken it down. So read into that what you will.
Yeah, the plot thickens. Obviously, when we report, we try and stick to the facts, not speculate. I remember when Yuri Tielemans was supposedly leaving Leicester, I should say, for Arsenal. His house was put on the market, and Arsenal fans zoomed in on the fridge to confirm there was a family photo there. This listing was the house pretty much brand new. It is believed to be where Isak lives, according to several sources in Newcastle. But as you say, it went up. It came down. Whether or not a rented house being advertised gives you a clear indication on movement or not remains to be seen. Maybe Isak was renting, he's going to buy somewhere else or rent somewhere else. So I try and avoid too much of speculation, but it is true that a house believed to be owned by Alexander Isak was briefly listed as for rent and then very hastily taken down.
That's right. Some of the other stories of the day. Everton are getting busy. Ashley Maitland-Niles from Lyon potentially, and Jack Grealish on loan has been suggested.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there's substance to both of these deals. So Maitland-Niles is very high in Everton's thinking, and those talks are advancing. Regarding Jack Grealish, it's going to be interesting because the ball feels in Man City's court. So Grealish wants to leave and play regularly with a view to the fact that he could still force his way into Thomas Tuchel's plans. The good news is that Tuchel is not necessarily looking at younger or long-term players. If he thinks they can have an impact and they're in form, they'll be selected regardless of their age. And that's why Ivan Toney got selection from Saudi Arabia. Jordan Henderson is back in the fold as well. And therefore, Grealish has been given some encouragement by Thomas Tuchel, but he's got to get out there and play. And it will all depend on whether, from Everton's perspective, Man City sanction alone, maybe with a buy option. Everton can't do it permanently. Otherwise, Grealish would have to make a significant wage concession. So it's all about Man City now. Everton are expected to make an approach. West Ham are quite interested in Grealish as well. I think his preference would be to stay within England and settled in Premier League football. But it's all on City because it isn't a loan. Then I'm not sure how Everton make that one work.
Yeah, sorry, I just called him Ashley. And Ainsley, of course. Adama Traore. There's possibility that Nuno could be reunited with him if they can prize him away from Fulham. It looks like they're going to get Dan and Doy, and they've been knocked back on a bid, though, for James McAtee today.
Yeah, but busy Nottingham Forest. And remember, they made a bid for Johan Wisser as well a few weeks ago, and that one was rejected. The bid for James McAtee, the same number as their approach for Wisser, £25 million. And Man City's position is quite clear here. They don't desperately want McAtee to leave, but if he goes to Pep Guardiola, like Cole Palmer did before he moved to Chelsea, and says, I want out, City will respect that position, but they'll be looking for a fee closer to what they sold Palmer for, which was a total package of 42.5 million. And that might seem quite high, but City's logic is McAtee's played a lot more games and done a lot more like for like compared to when Palmer was leaving Man City. Obviously, if you look at the two players now, you would think Palmer's exploded. McAtee still has to prove himself consistently, but like for like, at the same period in time, City want equivalent money. Forest, I'm told, are likely to make a second bid, but they don't want to go above the £35 million mark. And I sense something over 30 million, but below 40 million might still stand a chance. And then, as you rightly say, Forest have been eager to add new wingers. A club record deal was agreed for Bologna's Dan and Doy on Monday, and the Switzerland international is expected to join this week following a medical being completed. And Adama Traore is a possibility. I'm told because of his age and because of his wage, there is a possibility that Fulham will sanction that exit. So Forest could well bring a few through the door, added to the fact that, of course, good news arrived a few days ago when Morgan Gibbs-White signed a new deal.
I like that move for I think that's a good move.
Now, Ruben Amorim maybe feels that enough time has passed for him to go back to Sporting. This is Morten Hjulman, isn't it? A midfielder. They're interested.
Yeah, and I think it could materialise, although Manchester United have always been a little bit wary about the price, which could be in excess of £30 million or 40 million euros. Suggestions that they've already made a bid, at least formally speaking, are wide of the mark, I'm told. All Manchester United's effort and budget is being put towards strikers. And we've learnt in the last few hours that it's Benjamin Sesko or Ollie Watkins at the moment. And Nicholas Jackson, because of cost, is not something being explored. I suppose if they missed out on the other two, and for example, Chelsea went in for Alejandro Garnacho, you never know, they could revisit it. But it's Sesko or Watkins. That's where the budget is. Plus, likely on a young goalkeeper, with Emi Martinez looking less likely. They do want to bring in more of an athlete, more of an engine room midfielder. But at the moment, I think the valuation of a player like Morton Humeland is too high. So let's wait and see if Manchester United turn talks and maybe some verbal discussions into a formal offer. But I am told suggestions they've already made that bid to the tune of 40 million euros are wide of the mark.
Excellent. We're out of time, Ben, but a pleasure as always. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs, Monday to Friday afternoons 1 till 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.